1895, Mark Twain. Nowhere in the world have I encountered a festival of people that has had such a magnificent appeal to the whole nation. The cup astonishes me. Australia is a country located in the Pacific Ocean. It is the largest island in the world with a population of nearly 22 million people, from all different backgrounds, religions and cultures. It is a tropical country that has a very distinct national identity.
A nation is a group of people who share cultural aspects, ethnic origin and language. It is a term used to describe the attachment of people to its country. An identity is the characteristics or the similarities of a person or thing being what they are.
There are many different factors that have influenced Australia's identity, like the Aboriginals and Torres Strait Islanders and their hunter-gatherer lifestyle. They use traditional belief systems like the Dreamtime to pass on stories through generations. They have also shown to Australia iconic conventions like the boomerang and the didgeridoo.
Other factors include the arrival of the Europeans, the Australian flag and the national colours. Green and gold represent Australia. They are the colours shown on many sporting teams like rugby, netball and soccer.
The language of Australians and their accent are heavily shown throughout all different types of media and all over the world. Also, the comedy in Australia is very dry and ironic. It often is not understood by others from different countries.
Australia's identity is shaped a lot by its scenery and architecture, like the Sydney Opera House. Australia is also home to many UNESCO World Heritage Sites.
The Melbourne Cup is the most celebrated thoroughbred horse race in Australia. It is held on the first Tuesday of November at 3 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time.
The race is run by the Victorian Racing Club at Flemington Racecourse. Flemington is a suburb which was named after a butcher who once lived there.
24 Australian and internationally bred horses line up at the barriers waiting for the starting siren. International horses must be quarantined for a minimum period of 14 days before travelling into Australia. The race is open to horses that are 3 years old or over.
The race is the most prestigious 2-mile handicap in the world. The race distance was shortened by 18 metres when Australia changed to metrication in the 1970s and 1980s.
The handicap involves the weight of the jockey and the horse's previous results. The top allocated weight must not be less than 57 kilograms. The weight of the jockey is chosen by the VRC handicapper a few months prior to race date.
The present record holder is Kingston Rule, the 1990 winner with a time of 3 minutes and 16.3 seconds.
Nowadays, the prize money for the winner is 6 million Australian dollars. Also, the winner of the Melbourne Cup wins a trophy that is valued at $125,000, which was hand-beaten for over 200 hours and made from 34 pieces of gold.
The country stops what they are doing and watches the thrilling event. People either bet, do a small wager, or enter a sweep. At the racecourse, there is a lively atmosphere, which includes popping bottles of champagne, admiring the huge hats, and really getting into the races. The Melbourne Cup is known for bringing all social classes together. This event has shaped the way Australia treats its social classes. Before the Melbourne Cup, social classes were extremely divided and those of a lesser class were treated unfairly. This event did what no others could do. It brought Australia together as a unity. One of the most well-known factors of the Melbourne Cup is its fashion. The person who revolutionised the Melbourne Cup fashion is model Jean Shrimpton.
On October 30th, 1965, British model Jean Shrimpton unwittingly triggered off an international controversy when she attended Derby Day at Melbourne's Flemington Racecourse. Her acceptance was a flashpoint of the generation gap in Australia, and it highlighted the rapid changes taking place in the 60s fashion and exposed the deeply conservative nature of Australian society at the time, especially in matters pertaining to the image of a woman. For the visit, she had been sent some all-on mini dresses, and while they were rather shorter than normal, she didn't worry, because headlines in the UK were already starting to rise.
This relates to Australian identity as provocative fashion developed at a rapid pace since Jean Shrimpton's scandal. This also helped to identify beach culture and beach fashion.
Fall out
a dark chestnut, was foaled at Timaru, New Zealand at the Sea Down stud of Mr. A.F. Roberts on 4th October 1926.
He prevailed during the Great Depression in the early 1930s, when people needed a hero to look up to. Phar Lap appeared.
He dominated the local racing scene with 36 wins from his last 51 starts, and then won North America's richest race, the Agua Caliente Handicap, in 1932.
Phar Lap is the Thai word for wink of the sky, meaning the lightning.
In dazzling burst as a 3-year-old, Phar Lap won the Rose Hill Guineas AGC Derby and Craven Plate and VRC Derby before being beaten into 3rd place in the 1929 Melbourne Cup.
He then came back a year later and won the Melbourne Cup in 1930. That year he won 13 races in a row.
Phar Lap, one of the biggest horses ever to race in Australia, stood about 17 stands high. After his death, his heart was found to weigh 14 pounds, which was said to be the largest of any thoroughbred known in turf history.
A fortnight later, he went to the great equine heaven in the skies, struck down by a mystery illness that many suspected was the work of gangsters.
Phar Lap has influenced Australia's identity as he helped the nation to power through the Great Depression. His winnings went a great way to subsidise the people's happiness.